Hey everyone, welcome to the HireMyVA Team and Business Building Podcast, brought to you by ugozi.com.
That's right.
And in this podcast and at HireMyVA, we help you to reclaim your freedom through hiring and thriving with virtual assistants without breaking the bank, without breaking your bank. Remember, this is a team and business building podcast. We help you do it through virtual assistants. Well, of course, I'm Dave Braun, and I'm here with my good buddy, business mentor, coach, all that stuff. Larry.
Hello,
Larry Broughton. Larry Broughton.
The crowd goes wild for David Braun.
And
hi, buddy.
It's awfully silent.
Well, it's a small crowd today. Very small.
Yeah, very
tiny. Exactly. Hey, I'm gonna miss you this week, man.
Oh, I know. We're not meeting this week, are we?
We're not meeting this week. So anyway.
Well, we're texting, so that's cool. That helps.
Yeah.
All right. You ready for the topic?
Let's do it.
Okay. Here is the topic/question. I'm overwhelmed. How do I overcome overwhelm?
Yeah. How do we do that? Yeah. I mean, crying out loud, we go through life half the time overwhelmed, right?
Yeah.
It sucks. We've talked about overwhelm before in the past. I think, didn't we have a Q&A recently?
We did. We had a Q&A where we talked about it and got some input from the community, and it was really, really helpful.
Yeah. What did we come up with there?
Well, that's what we're going to talk about sharing, right? And we're going a little bit more in depth because we've had a little bit more opportunity to think about it.
Yeah.
And we want to give you guys a process to go through it that could help you.
Yeah.
So we're going to expand on what we talked about in the community.
Okay.
But one of the things, Larry, one of the things that I say, and it just helps me when I feel overwhelmed. It helps me to put it in proper perspective. Yeah. And part of the reason I get overwhelmed from time to time is because there's lots of opportunities, lots of things to do, lots of people to serve. And that's a good thing in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
Because if I'm not overwhelmed, that means, nobody wants what I have to offer.
Funny,
right?
All these different anthropological studies show that there's been literally no better, no safer time to be alive than right now.
Yes.
So many of us think that poverty is on the increase. It's actually diving dramatically.
Oh my gosh,
we think that so many people are dying all around us. Fewer people are dying every year than ever on a per capita basis. General wealth is through the roof. We have all these, choices in entertainment and people to do, yet overwhelm is higher than ever.
Yes.
Right. It's because there's so many damn things to do.
That's right.
Right. And different paths we should be going and questioning ourselves. Right. Should I have done this versus that? Well, listen, if your only choice is chocolate or vanilla, the anxiety level or the overwhelm is limited.
That's right.
Have you ever been with somebody when they walk into Baskin Robbins with all those different flavors? Or you walk into like a cheesecake factory and there's, cheesecake. For those who don't know, Cheesecake Factory is a restaurant chain that's notorious for how many menu items they have. And so people are like, they can't even make a flipping decision.
It's hard. Yeah.
This is why In-N-Out, one of the most successful restaurants out there, has less than a dozen menu items, right?
Yep.
People walk in and out, right? Less overwhelm
for
everybody.
And today, the choices that we have are becoming more and more and more, right?
Yes.
I mean, if you just think about it, Larry, in our lifetime, I'm 60, you're almost there.
What?
Shh. We don't act our age, though.
Not even close.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I'm told.
I remember growing up in, Southern California. I've lived here all my life. And we had so many TV channels compared to the rest of the country. We had like 7.
7?
2, 4, 5, 7, 9, 11, and 13. Yeah, we had 7 channels. Wow. That's it for our choices for TV.
It. We had 2.
Yeah, you guys had 2, right?
Well, and because, there were 3 generally for like a lot of our folks, but we lived in a little. Anyway, we could only get 2. I think it was, we got NBC and CBS.
Yep.
We didn't get ABC.
Yep.
Yeah. And I think all the good shows were on back then. I remember correctly. We spent a lot of time outside.
So you think about that, 2 or 5 or 7 channels,
Yeah.
whatever. I mean, you just didn't have hardly any choices. You couldn't record anything.
Yeah.
We're playing back later. Now, oh my gosh, you've got your Netflix, and so within each of these, you've got hundreds of shows. Your Netflix, your Apple TV, your Amazon Prime, your YouTube stuff, right? And then your cable TV. It's like there are so many things to choose from. And, sometimes it's funny. You're scrolling through. It's like, oh my gosh, there's nothing on.
Exactly. I think a lot of it has to do, and then we get overwhelmed because how many people actually have Hulu, Netflix, Amazon Prime, Tubi, and all the others, right? Part of it is fear of missing out. Like they can't miss anything.
Oh,
There's no way you could ever watch a fraction of what's on any of those networks.
And then to add on to that, you meet with some friends and they say, "Oh, I watched this show. You got to see it. Oh, I watched that show. You got to see it. Oh, that show." Right?
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
And then pretty soon you've got this list of shows that there's just no way that you can get to unless you're watching 24/7. Then, it used to be, if you want to go to the library, you'd have a few books in each category. What's a library? I know, right? Now you can get unlimited books on Kindle. You can, books are so inexpensive. Audible. You have so many choices, right? And that ends up happening. It's causing overwhelm. So it's really kind of a product of, the last, 100 or a couple hundred years. And when these types of changes happen so fast socially, it takes a while for our brains to really catch up and how to deal with it. Right.
Yeah.
So given all of that, one other thing before we get into this is we've got to really remember that overwhelm, it's not really a thing. It's just a feeling that we have.
That's right.
Because you could feel overwhelmed right now. You might feel overwhelmed just hearing what we said.
That's right.
But then, you go have a good night's sleep and you're not overwhelmed in the morning. So it's really a feeling. And, there's multiple definitions of it, but Webster's talks about this. What we're going to talk about here is overwhelm means to overpower in thought or feeling, as in overwhelmed with grief, overwhelmed by terror, overwhelmed with guilt, as in a sense of inadequacy, overwhelmingly. Now, with being entrepreneurs and trying to build our businesses, you're overwhelmed with choices of what services to offer, products to offer, tools to use to build your business, methodologies, coaches. So we're overwhelmed again with all of these choices. So what do we do when the time comes when we're feeling like, I just don't know what to do? I've got so many things to do in my business. I've got to go chase clients. I've got to go do this education program. Oh, I've got a mastermind I'm in. Oh, I've got to meet with my coach. Oh, my kid needs this. Pretty soon it's just all bam on top of us, right? So what do we do?
Yeah.
Right.
Well, one of the things that came up last week when on one of our calls, Dave, with clients was this darn 3-column exercise that we talk about all the time, right? It's such a simple tool that we developed all these years ago about turn a piece of paper landscape wise, and in the far left column you do everything that you write down everything that you're doing, and I mean everything that you're doing. And ultimately what you want to do is then write everything down in the middle column that you're great at, and then in the far right column things that you love or love it. And what you do with everything let me back up. The idea is then you move things to that you're great at, that you're currently doing, and then ultimately, and I'm not going to go into all the details, and you move everything that you're great at into the love it column, things that you are ultimately, what should be in the far right column is things that you love and that you're great at. All those other things you go through and you delete, delegate, defer, or do. It's amazing, Dave, how much overwhelm can be suddenly slashed from your life if you just get radical and saying, I'm not going to do this anymore.
Yeah.
I don't need to do, why am I doing this? Or delegating it. Someone else can handle this on the team. Or deferring it, like saying, I kept telling myself I need to get it done now, but really, I don't need to do it for 6 months. I'm going to put it in my tickler file for 5 months from now. It's amazing. Just that right there it lowers the blood pressure.
Mm-hmm.
And that is a 30-minute exercise.
That's a great thing to do on a regular basis to
And we
help you
see
keep
it
overwhelm from
over,
happening.
right? Don't we see it over and over again, Dave?
Mm-hmm.
And then people say, oh yeah, I forgot all about that. I need to go do that again.
Mm-hmm.
So what I would encourage people to do, if you're somebody who's constantly living in overwhelm, put it in your calendar that once a month, you're going to do the 3-column exercise.
Yeah.
And if you're in the Victory Masterclass, or the Victory community, or the HireMyVA community, you can just search in the
It's
search
there. Yeah.
find
It's
it.
absolutely there.
Yeah. Yep.
So
Hope I didn't get us off track, Dave. I'm sorry.
No. That's what we want to do on a regular basis, because that will keep a lot of the overwhelm from really happening. But there's going to still be times when it's like, oh my gosh, everything is coming all at once, because you've got, clients opening up help tickets and people wanting stuff from you right now. So here's our methodology, Larry. Shall we go through it?
Let's do it. Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, we'll go through this really quick. So one of the first things to do is breathe, right? Yeah. Realize that most of the time, most of the reasons that you are having some overwhelm is it's probably more of a first world problem type of a thing, right? It's an opportunity, things that are happening because we live in a pretty wealthy society. So take some breaths and relax a little bit. You can take a deep breath, hold it for a count of 4, breathe it out for a count of 8, and then do that 3 times. That will clear your mind a little bit and start bringing that level of stress way, way, way down.
All right. And when I was taught that, 40 years ago in martial arts or whatever, 40 some, golly, it's like breathe in through your nose for 4 seconds, take 4 seconds to do it, hold it for 4 seconds, and then exhale it through your mouth for 4 seconds. Okay. There's something about that process, and I don't know what it is. I guess I should read up on it sometime. But do that 3 or 4 times, and you'll start feeling your mind start to work. Here's one of the things I think, Dave, I have to remind my son of sometimes, is that we just stop breathing. We start breathing. Yes. When we get overwhelmed, we don't take a deep breath. Mm-hmm. Your brain needs oxygen to work. It's like trying to drive your car on, when you got no gas in it, but you just keep putting this booster stuff in the carburetor,
right?
That's no good. That's not good for you. You have to get oxygen to your brain.
And what this is doing is it's helping you get oxygen, but it's also helping you pause.
Yep.
Like a short pause. There's a great book. I think this is in Power of Habit, where they talked about one of the things that they do with policemen, is how they have taught them to, when they stop a car, they have to pause before they get out of a car and go talk to the person.
Oh, that's good.
Part of the reason is because we get into this mode, Larry, where we can get blinded. We're focused on one thing, and we don't hear or think about something else.
Yeah.
We can make really wrong decisions. So that's what this is doing. It's helping you pause. And the second thing that helps you pause too is, we talked about it in episode 107, but express gratitude for a couple of things, 5 or 6 things. Just think, okay, I'm thankful for the fact that I've got clean water right now.
Yeah.
I'm thankful for the fact that I've got, a computer system. I'm thankful for the internet, that I can actually work from home.
Yeah.
I'm just thankful for the fact that I'm not starving, right now. So there's once you do that, you're just putting things on hold for a little bit, adjusting your attitude, so then you can start thinking a little bit.
Yeah, I like that. Another thing I think, Dave, that would be beneficial for everyone. This is a lot of writing. I know that if you get in the habit of doing your daily gratitudes, I understand that. But again, you're probably overwhelmed right now. And how is that working out for you? So take a second and just take out another piece of paper, or write it on your tablet or your phone or whatever it is. I want you to just write everything down that's going through your head.
Yeah.
Like literally, what are the thoughts? Old school, you would take 2 separate pieces of paper, right? Mm-hmm. Or front and back of a piece of paper, right? And on one side of it, you'd write things that I can control, right? For those who've been through any recovery program, you've probably heard the Serenity Prayer, right? There are things you can control and things you can't control. I'm not going to worry about the things I can't control. All right. So things I can't control on one side, things I can't control on the other. Right. And just write those things, everything that's going through your head in the appropriate column. About those things that are causing you stress and anxiety, write them all down. And then once you've done that, you can throw out, shred, put an X through, whatever you need to do with those things that you can't control. But do something physical. Like I'm not going to do it. Burn it. Whatever you need to do.
Yeah.
Right. I think that is going to help. It may sound really simple, but I remember, I'm not going to say who, but I had a friend who was going through therapy at the time and needed to really close this important chapter of her book. And the therapist suggested that she write a letter to whoever this person was and go throw it in the ocean. And she tells a very funny story about how she went out to Ocean Beach and threw it, and and her dog was with her, and the dog went and chased it and brought it back to her.
No,
maybe there was a message there, right? But she did it again and finally got it out far enough where the currents took it away, right? But what I love about that story, Dave, is even then she was seeing the humor, in this, right? As you started this podcast out, as a lot of this stuff is really, when you put it in perspective, you start to realize this is first world stuff. That doesn't mean that it's not important, that it's not real.
Mm-hmm.
But in the grand scheme of things, yes, most of us who are listening to this, I don't care where you are in the world, can probably walk to a tap water inside your dwelling and draw clean water.
Yeah.
You realize a lot of people in the world can't even do that.
Oh, you just reminded me of something, Larry.
Okay, go ahead.
I was reading, just scrolling through the news for a little bit, taking a break one evening, and I like to read some of these kind of weird articles, but history articles. It was in the Smithsonian or something. Uh-huh. They were talking about a PhD person researching, making their life's work at this point, understanding how people, this is going to sound crazy. We talk about all kinds of stuff on here, but how they went to the bathroom in ancient times, what they did with all the, the excrement, right?
Streets.
Yeah. What they, and how they recognized that wasn't good enough once the population was growing, like in ancient Rome. Yeah. They talked about different, there's communal places where you would go and all that stuff. Yeah. And oh my gosh. And some of them were only for the rich.
That's right.
And so it's like, oh my gosh, just even having an indoor bathroom right now. Yeah. We are so much richer right now than they were years and years ago. Yeah. So that's
the
obviously
poorest person in
really
this
be
country lives better than kings did 400 years ago, 300 years ago.
Yeah.
Maybe even 200 years ago. Think about that. Crazy.
Yeah, it is.
Electricity, heating.
Yeah, it's amazing. Yeah. So we've talked about a few things. Maybe at this point, you've hopefully written everything down that's going on, right? Everything down. So once you get stuff written down out of your head, it'll stop going through your head, going back and forth and back and forth and creating that feedback loop where all of a sudden you feel like you're overwhelmed. You'll still have it, but at least it's down on paper. And now you can do some stuff with it, right? So Larry, I think one of the next things is this, now we're at the things I can control part of it. I think what you need to do is go and write down or check off or circle things that have to be done today.
Oh, that's good. Today.
Today.
Just today.
Just today. Because that's really, Larry, when you think about it, that's all we have is today. We don't have tomorrow. It hasn't come yet.
But realistically today, what really needs to be done today?
Yes. What really needs to be done.
Not what do you want to get, like need to. Like words have meaning. We talk about this all the time. Need, not want, need.
Yes. And then the next thing is take what you just circled, put those on a separate paper. So now you've got a whole nother piece of paper, and you want to put that one aside that has all this stuff on it. But now you're whittling it down to everything today, and that's all that you have in front of you is all those things that you want to do today.
Then take that paper and go give it to someone else. Hey, get this stuff done for me.
Yeah. You could do that. You could deal with it tomorrow, right? Put it over. It's in your tomorrow pile.
Yeah.
All right. All right. So now you've got the stuff that you need to.
Don't do that. Okay, let's keep going.
All right. So you've got the stuff you just have to do today on a separate piece of paper.
Yes.
Then, all right, this is going to be interesting, is that
Okay.
you want to look at those things and take, as you're looking through them, you want to start building momentum, right? So that will get you out of this paralyzed type of mode that you're in. So take whatever you think is going to be the easiest, the most fun, something that you're going to like to do on there. Cause I'm sure there's something, or maybe something there's that you would like, that you'll hate the least, whatever it is, something that'll be done quick, and do it. And then once you're done, celebrate it. Because then when you've done that, make a big check mark by it, cross it off real hard. Just, and once you do that, that'll feel pretty darn good.
Yeah. I have a former mentor. He used to say that his goal was always to get 3 major things done in a day. Just 3.
Yeah.
3 major. Not I'm only going to do 3 things today. What are 3 things going to make an impact in my life, business, my to-do list each day? Right. And everything's gravy beyond that. Right. Because let's be real. Most of us don't accomplish 3 major things a day. We get so wrapped up in all the minutia in life, we don't accomplish it. But his goal is to get 3 major things done each day. And then the rest of the day is spent doing the small stuff, the supportive things, building the relationships, developing people. Listen, there is no exact or perfect way to do this.
Nope.
All we're doing is just giving you ideas, right?
Yeah.
You'll find something that works for you. But Dave, you and I have worked with hundreds, thousands of people over the years at this point. And we're just, one of the things you and I talk about is we're aggregator of ideas, right?
Oh, yeah.
We're going to take best practices that we see out there that are working, and we're going to share them with the folks that are in the Victory and HireMyVA tribes.
That's right.
That's all we're doing.
Yep.
So if this resonates with you, do it. If you say, well, let me tweak that a little bit, tweak it and let us know how it's working for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So now that you've got that one thing done, you'll be able to prioritize the rest of the list.
That's right.
And, maybe once your head's a little bit more clear, you want to prioritize the list. It's very possible that 1 or 2 of those things could go to your tomorrow list.
Right.
You could renegotiate when they are really, really due. You could do that. But right now, then the next thing is, after you build some momentum, here's a technique. You could set a timer, like a countdown timer, for 30, 45, 60 minutes, 90 minutes, whatever. Go nose down, execute, renegotiate as many of those items as you can. Hopefully they're prioritized to a certain extent. And then make sure you take some breaks in between when you're doing these focus sessions. In fact, one of the things, Larry, that we do as part of our community is we have at least one of these focus sessions a week with people. And it's amazing what happens. Everybody just loves them. Not too many people get on them, surprisingly.
But the people who do get on there love them.
Oh my gosh. Today we did one today, and I commented at the end on all the stuff that I did, and I thought, well, I was hoping I'd get more done. And then Melissa told me, she said, sounds like you got a lot done in an hour. And I'm like, I did. So it's amazing.
Melissa was on that, and she got a project done that you and I've been,
That's right.
needling about. That was really good. I'll tell you this, Dave, from all the folks that we've worked with over the years, for somebody to sit down nose to the grindstone for 90 minutes is rare. Most people can't do that.
Yeah.
Generally, we start to see 40 minutes. People really, you can go hardcore nonstop for 40 minutes. Just about anybody can when they're focused. But at that point, you have to take at least a 5-minute break.
Sure.
Get up, walk around, use the bio room, whatever you need to do, and then go back and do it again. Right.
Yeah.
So a lot of people, like what I have to do 20-minute sprints.
Yeah.
Okay? I do 20-minute sprint, 5-minute break, 20-minute sprint, 5-minute break, 20-minute sprint, 15-minute break. Okay. You just need to find out what works for you, because all of our brains are different.
Yeah. Experiment. In fact, experiment with this. And it's not just experimenting with this overwhelm reduction technique. It's just
Right.
experimenting with how you prioritize your day
Sure.
and your morning routine. In fact, Larry, I've adjusted my morning routine. It seems to be working better for me.
Good. What are you doing?
We'll have to talk
Good,
about
man.
it. Oh, you want to talk about it now? Well, normally what we talk about is when you get up in the morning, you make your bed, and then you do some prayers or spiritual reading or something like that, right?
Yeah.
And drink some water, exercise. What I'm doing is, after I'm getting up right now, of course, making the bed, I get some water and I start writing down a few things that are going through my head, and start doing an initial planning of my day, because what I'm finding is that starts waking me up. And then my brain is in a better position to process all my spiritual readings. I'm reading the Bible, I'm doing some journaling, and it's just more effective. And then when I come back after I work out and I come back, my day's kind of almost set up. Because for me, Larry, I have not been successful at setting up my day the night before.
Yeah.
My brain's just not there. I can't do it.
That's fine. But you're finding what works for you. What's very interesting, and we've been talking about and doing morning routines for years, and you're still tweaking and monitoring it and changing it as we go. Folks, please hear this, right? Life is going to change for you. Modulate, change, whatever. Experiment with these different things and find out what works. There's nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with it. But please, what I'd like to hear, though, I love hearing more folks' ideas. Like most of the stuff that you and I share, Dave, 99% of it are not original ideas that we've come up with. They're ideas that we've seen, we've tweaked, we've modified, and just recognized what things work for some people and what don't.
Yeah.
Right. So modify it, make it personal for you. But I'd love to hear about it, because what works for you might work for somebody else. Yeah.
All right, folks. Well, hopefully some of these techniques to manage your overwhelm will help you. It helps us, right? Works for us.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, folks, thank you for being with us, because we're putting a wrap on this episode. Because if we go any longer, we're going to start feeling overwhelmed with all the other things we have to do.
That need to get done. Yes, that's right. Yeah.
So speaking of this team and business building podcast, building a team is the way to reclaim your freedom.
Yeah.
That's one of the biggest things you can do to help with consistent overwhelm, because you got to have people that you can offload some of your tasks to. Sure. Got to do that. Otherwise, you'll just go nuts. So if you want to get into that, if you want to do that, we're here to help you with our course and community. And one of the best ways to make a quick and giant leap forward in this is to take advantage of our white glove service, where we find a rock star VA for you. Okay. So as we end most episodes, 3 things we'd love for you to do. We're going to cut that short, but we're going to do it. Subscribe to this podcast, either on your phone or YouTube. Number 2, give us a rating or leave us a comment. Tell us what you do to handle overwhelm. And then number 3, go to HireMyVA.com for more information on the course and community and our white glove service. Because even without experience, you learn how to prepare for, hire, and thrive with virtual assistants. We're helping folks. We're loving it. It's great to be able to make a difference and to help people handle their overwhelm. So go to HireMyVA.com for more information on all that.
All right, my friends, we love you. God bless you. God keep you. God hold you. All right, go get them. We'll see you.
All right.
See you next time.
Bye, everybody.